Ooh.
Coming out of the
Mark's
smoke.
giving me theatrical effect with the smoker. So the inspections that we are performing today are because Lilac Hive, when we first got them, we thought that the Lilac Hive actually had 2 queens, because when we got called for the swarm, there was a small cluster and another small cluster that had moved from the original spot on the lilac bush. And we figured, well, maybe there's just 2 virgin queens, or there's 2 queens in there. That's not uncommon at all. So we went ahead and brought this one home, and I gave them about, what, 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah.
And it came out that on that 3rd week inspection, that Lilac Hive only had a couple of drone cells and no other eggs, no larvae, they hadn't even built any comb. And what's worse is the stores that I gave them had been robbed out, because I figured these guys are going to go crazy, they're going to build, so they'll be able to protect these stores, and really that just wasn't the case. So about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I decided to just do a quick walk away split. I was going to pull from the Buckeye Hive, which was me breaking into the bottom brood box and taking 3 to 4 frames of eggs, larvae, and capped brood, because their population was nothing. There were probably a handful of workers in there, and Buckeye Hive's population is booming enough where they could support doing a split. Now that would have been in early July, where today is August 1st. So we got in today and we were pleasantly surprised.
This is a very good sign.
This is a really good sign, guys. And they're already starting to move. That's good.
And we just smoked them, so.
Yeah, we just smoked them.
They were a lot on the top when we opened.
So after that, Mark, being the best cameraman ever, noticed that there was a queen in there. So we just caught sight of our queen. I'm gonna see if I can see her again. Mark pointed her out. So just seeing her is good. You see her over here, baby?
She went around the bottom, I think.
Bee's book. And there she is, right there on the corner.
Yep, got her.
There, and she looks good and mated. That's good, because we really thought that she was not in here. There's no eggs yet, but just seeing her like that, and she looks like she's been well mated. She doesn't look like a virgin to me. You see her? But she's moving along in there, so it's really good to see that. I want to kind of see where she hatched from. I think we found it earlier, but that's good, because these guys were queenless. Now we've seen a queen, so I can kind of sit back and kind of calm down about this hive.
Now, do you see any brood on that one, babe?
I was hoping we could catch her in the act of laying an egg, and she might, but right now she just seems like she's running around crazy. We are pleased as pudding. Is that the saying?
It works.
Pleased as pudding. We are tickled pink.
Pleased as a capped honey cell. How about that?
There you go. Pleased as a capped honey cell. So we were happy to see that. There were no eggs and larvae yet, but really at about 2.5 to 3 weeks after the split, it would probably have taken about a week to 2 weeks to form a queen.
No
have her,
larvae,
yeah,
though.
still no larvae, still no eggs,
Yeah.
but it's only 3 weeks since we did the split. So I'm thinking if
Still
we were,
positive.
it's still very positive, and in a week or 2 we should be able to go in and see what she's doing. The only thing I'm worried about now is like the worker bees are trying to honey bound them a little bit, so we made sure to checkerboard the different frames so that they have open frames to create brood on, and existing frames if they want to put honey or nectar in it, that's what they can do. Then we did get to move on to the honeysuckle hive, or the honey locust hive.
Honey locust, yeah.
Honey locust hive. And this was the hive that was mean last time. I didn't bring you guys along for that because I got stung multiple times. They were on me before I knew it. But it does help when we've got 2 out here, because he can smoke the whole time I'm popping any frames, whereas when it's just one person.
And it did have a big effect, because they calmed down a lot more being smoked.
Yeah, they weren't very loud. And we did get to go in and we did a lot of cleanup for the burr comb that you're seeing here. So we came into something a little bit different. Now this is the honey locust hive, and I did add another deep to the honey locust hive because they were about 75 to 80% full deep down in here. But you guys can see they really like to just grow. They're trying to reject this is what's happening. They don't like this foundation, so they're actually trying to build up and around it. So they've got bridge comb, they've got all this wonky comb, but I always have loved like how beautiful and white new comb looks. And I don't know if you can get in close enough, babe, but it's full of nectar. It's full of nectar. You can tell on the bottom here I've broken it, and there's all kinds of honey in here. And these guys haven't been fed, but just thought I'd show you guys what some of that bridging looks like, and that's a sign that these guys do not like their foundation. So I'm gonna probably take this and just break it and smear it all over the foundation. They'll reuse the wax and they'll gather up the nectar and the honey that's being formed, but then it might encourage them to actually to build on their foundation. They're trying right here because it's just a little bit white, but that's just a sign that they don't like their foundations. So you guys can see, like, I'm just snapping it off, and I am literally just taking the glove and just flattening it down to encourage them to build from here across. And then this way, like I said before, they're not wasting any type of resources. They're getting to use all the things they've already put a lot of work into making. It's just, we need them to make it on the foundations. We don't want it down here. And as lovely as that is, and I love the way that they naturally build their comb, for our purposes and for inspection and to make inspections easier, because I can't see what's on this side of the comb because it goes down and against the foundation. So I want everything on the flat side of the foundation so I can look and see eggs. I can look and see if there's mites, if there's hive beetles. There's a reason why we're doing this, but I understand why the bees don't like the foundation either. Sometimes you just get a hive that doesn't like their foundations. Go ahead.
So yeah, they did start becoming aggressive towards the end, but then we noticed, even though we got trees over us, it's sort of hard to tell. It was starting to sprinkle, which that has an effect on them.
Yeah.
When they can know a storm's coming in, they do become.
Yeah, you really should never try to inspect if it's too windy, if there's too much overcast, or if there's a forecast of rain, because honestly, the bees can tell a lot easier than we can that a storm's coming. They're more sensitive to barometer drops, just like all wildlife are, whereas we as humans, we actually have to have a barometer in front of us to know it's dropping.
Yeah, today's one of those days where unfortunately they're just popping up, the storms. Like,
yeah,
there was no chance this morning.
Exactly.
We really need to get in and check them. So we had plans to do that today, and we thought we had a dry spell. And of course, as soon as we put it all back together, it stopped raining already. So.
And we did come across some things in the Honey Locust Hive that are a little concerning. Now, when I put on, the last time I was in there, I did put on another deep brood box because all the frames were full. 100% full. Their population was just exploding. So I put one of those on, and I don't know if I caught them in time. I feel like they may have swarmed because I've left them alone. I'm kind of taking a more laid back approach this year where I'm not in every 2 weeks. I'm going in like every 3 to 4 weeks. Unless I can tell that there's a population drop off or there's something that's signaling that that hive might not be healthy. And there's nothing signaling that this hive isn't healthy. I mean, this hive is very, very healthy. Now, I did catch sight of some hive beetles, so I'll be putting in the oil traps next time, and I will make sure to film that for you guys. But we did find queen cells. We found 2 to 3 queen cells, and it looked like they were open. So that's why I'm thinking we may have actually had a swarm cast off of this, which it's not uncommon for us to still get swarms that are happening. It's not uncommon at all. It's not what we want to happen, and I should be in here more often, but at the same time, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, looking at it, I mean, they had a good amount of population still, which was a good sign coming in and out. We would have dug deeper, but of course, with
it started raining, and I was like, I really wish we could have gotten footage of that queen cell, but I probably will still get footage of it later.
I think you might be able to take into account that they weren't as aggressive this time, that maybe there is a queen in there, because that is a symptom of a queenless.
This is true, and he's making a great point that because they were so hot last time, that maybe that was the problem. Something may have happened to their queen. I don't know, because I let them go for a little bit longer, and they were just so hot. I put on that new the new deep brood box and left them alone. So
just trying to, sometimes you look at different symptoms and try to figure out a conclusion.
Yeah, and ultimately, like, they're their own beings. Really, they are. They're going to do their own thing. And in the wild, if they ran out of space like this and their population was big, they would swarm anyway. So I know as a beekeeper, it's my job to make sure we try to not let them swarm. We try to encourage them to stay, but sometimes that just doesn't happen.
Yeah. So to recap, we got some takeaways. So we got hive beetle traps we want to put in.
Yeah.
We've got the risk of trying to confirm that they have a queen or not, make sure it stays healthy. So we'll probably be checking again pretty soon on that.
Yeah, I'd say probably next week, and if not, in the next couple of days when it's clear.
So 2 takeaways we got for today.
But Lilac Hive does have a queen. We saw her. She's beautiful. She didn't look very fat in the back, like her. She didn't have all the.
Yeah, it was slender.
She wasn't as fat in the caboose area as I would have liked to have seen her, but she was beautiful and she was there, and that's a blessing all on its own.
And something we didn't see last time.
Yeah.
So
definitely. All right, so I know, guys, that was a quick one today, but we just wanted to bring you guys along while we checked on the Lilac Hive and kind of got into the Honey Locus Hive before Mother Nature said enough is enough. And so did the bees, because the bees heard her better than we did. So yep. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure that you drop down in the comments below what your favorite part was. Let me know what you think about the queen. Do you think she's a virgin queen, or she been mated and we'll start to see some eggs here within the next week?
Isn't there a song about that?
What?
Madonna sings.
What? Like a virgin. I thought you meant Fat Bottom Girls. I was going Queen. Fat Bottom Girls. Maybe
you play a song for me. Sure.
There's a lot of songs we could put towards our specific queen. Maybe. I might have to name her the Fat Bottom Queen. I don't know. But anyways, until next time, guys, make sure that you're being kind to one another out there and staying healthy. We're going to catch you in the next one. Bye, y'all.